Man, this is an uncommon L for Iowa and a very common W for Alabama. Iowa has always secretly been one of my favorite teams to pay attention to in college football. I don't think any team over the past 2 decades has done more with less. Meaning I have seen Iowa take more 2- and 3-star recruits and turn them into first or second round NFL talents than any other program. But unfortunately, Iowa had their chance to land their biggest recruit to date, and they simply just fumbled it. Just 2 short months after leaving Alabama and hitting the transfer portal and then enrolling into Iowa, it looks like one of the most promising young talents in college football might be returning back to Alabama. The Iowa native and the top offensive tackle prospect in this year's transfer portal, Kadyn Proctor, posted on his Instagram story with one short sentence saying, "I'm back." Now, this is an absolute heartbreaker because Kaden Proctor is from Iowa. He originally was committed to Iowa before decommitting and going to Alabama during his recruiting cycle, and then to have it happen again, Iowa just was not able to land their top offensive tackle prospect. But a player wanting to go back to Alabama from Iowa is not that big of a story. What really makes it a story is how Iowa screwed this up. According to sources close to Kaden Proctor, for weeks there was a building sense of discontent and that perhaps Alabama wasn't as bad out as it seemed. According to sources, Iowa wanted to prevent the appearance that anything was being handed to Kaden without him having earned it. What do you mean without him having earned it? He was one of the best young offensive tackle prospects in the country, a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, and was an all-SEC freshman. What do you mean he didn't earn anything? And on top of not wanting to appear like they were giving him anything, they also weren't gonna roll out the red carpet for him either. But this is where Iowa truly shot themselves in the foot. Now remember what I said earlier, that Iowa tends to recruit a lot of 2- and 3-star. Sometimes they'll land a couple 4-star guys in the class, but the majority of their class are 2- and 3-star recruits. And what happens when you're a 2- or a 3-star recruit is your recruiting journey is completely different from a 5-star recruit's recruiting journey. Most of the time, Iowa's going to be your top school that offered you. You're going to be an in-state recruit, or like I said, you're going to be Iowa's going to be the best that you can go to. Maybe you have another school that you're looking at, but you're not going to have all of these different options to come to when it comes to the school that you play for. But when you're a 5-star recruit, you can go anywhere you want. And I guess behind the scenes, teammates didn't exactly welcome him with open arms. Rather, they were skeptical that the same player who flipped his commitment the day before signing day was truly all in on Iowa's culture, which hammers home the idea that no one is granted special treatment, whether it's a 5-star recruit or a half-star. But you see, that's what I don't buy. I don't buy the whole, oh, well, you didn't commit to us before, so we're gonna be skeptical of whether or not you're gonna stay here. Every kid, football has completely changed. There's this old school mentality of you have to have all this loyalty to these programs and everything has to be for the culture. It's at the college level, everything, the main reason why a kid plays football is not so that they can become some school's favorite player. It's so that they can make it to the NFL. And then when they get to the NFL, it's completely business. And a lot of that business has trickled down into the college football game. This is just business. The fact that there was players questioning whether or not he was all in on the program, who are you to judge? You just got one of the top young players in the country. You should be welcoming him in with open arms. You don't have to be mean to him. You don't have to give him a cold shoulder because he didn't commit to your, what does that matter? Okay, you got to see what another young offensive tackle prospect can do in his place. And then you just got significantly better at the most important position on the offensive side of the ball besides the quarterback. The fact that there was teammates getting not accepting him in, it's I simply do not understand that. College football players now have more choices to make the best decision for themselves. Before, it used to be you went to a program, and if you realized that program was not going to help you get to the goals and aspirations that you're trying to achieve, you'd have to sit out a whole year if you wanted to switch schools, or you just have to tough it out hoping that a situation would get better for you. Now you can test the waters and see what really is going to be the best situation for yourself And for the players to have to not be supporting that, that's honestly a shame on Iowa's players, in my opinion. Oh, but that's not all. I guess meanwhile, communication from the coaching staff to Proctor's camp was lacking. The family had to initiate contact after several days of hearing nothing from the staff after Proctor enrolled. Then, after being promised answers to questions like how to visit practice and parking, run-of-the-mill things, it was more radio silence. In all honesty, it looked like what Iowa did here was they were trying to punish Kadyn Proctor because he didn't commit to them last season. It really seems like they were salty and they were butthurt that they were not able to land their 5-star offensive tackle prospect, and he went to Alabama. And then when he decides to enroll back to Iowa, they're like, we're gonna let you know what you missed out on. We're gonna treat you, and you're gonna have to stay here and just suck it up. What kind of, this is the exact opposite of what the Iowa that I know. Iowa that I know is that they're gonna take whatever player that they get, they're gonna bring him in and they're gonna put him into their culture, and they're gonna go and work with that player. Not try and shun a player because he went to what he felt at the best time was the best opportunity for him. Oh, by the way, we're talking about a 17, 18, 19-year-old. We're not talking about some 30-year-old coach who's just flip-flopping between schools. We're talking about a teenager. And here's how you know how salty that Iowa was. The fact that they treated him poorly once he got there, and then he decided to go back to Alabama, at least where he knew. Here's how you know that they were really just being bullies at this point. He stated that he was happy that the player that didn't intend on being on the team in the fall wasn't given any meaningful practice reps throughout the spring. Seriously, that's all that you have to say. Not, sorry we weren't able to make it happen for the kid. Hey, hope the best for him. There seriously are bullying a teenager here. I'm gonna redact that statement a little bit. Bullying's a little bit of a stretch, but come on, what are we talking about here? This is the new age of college football where players are going to be constantly testing the transfer portal to see where they can have the best advantage to try and help themselves out. At the end of the day, whether Kaden Proctor is at Alabama or at Iowa, NIL money is flowing freely. Those colleges, their attendance is going to continue to go up. Seats are going to continue to sell out. It does not matter. These schools, they're getting their money. It really does not matter on a player-by-player basis. So the fact that they were trying to make it out like Kaden Proctor was some villain because he didn't want to stay home coming out of high school and wanted to go to Alabama. And then when the main reason why he went to Alabama, which was Nick Saban, ended up retiring, he wanted to see what Iowa was like. And then he gets to Iowa and then you guys don't even treat him well. Yeah, I'm going back to Alabama every single day. I'm letting all y'all know this right now. Whether you are a head coach, a part of the coaching staff, whether you're a player or a fan, there is a new age of college football, and it is here, and it's here to stay. I don't want to hear anybody say anything about a player that does anything about transferring. I don't care if my favorite player on USC, I didn't care if Caleb Williams transferred back out to Oklahoma after dominating for 1 year at USC. At the end of the day, these players are making the best decisions for themselves and their families. If anybody has played football at any meaningful level, you know how quickly that football can be taken away from you. One wrong hit and it's all over. Literally one small mistake or one freak accident on a football field can take football away from you forever. And so you have to make every single second that you are playing the game count. Whether you are at Iowa, Alabama, or your local junior college, you need to make every single second count. I don't want to hear anybody scrutinize what a player does. Oh, he just went to this school for more money. Cool. He deserves it. He's worked his butt off to make that money and set up his family in a better situation. He should have stayed. He said he was going to come back next year. It doesn't matter. He's a teenager or just turned 20. He's gonna go do whatever he feels like is the best for him. Stop trying to live vicariously through these football players and let them make the decisions that works best for them. I'm tired of it. I'm glad that NIL is here. I'm glad these players are able to make money. I'm glad the transfer portal is now much more lax in that you're able to transfer to the programs that best suit you and what you're trying to accomplish. I don't want to hear none of these old school, old head college football fans of, I miss when there should be no money in it and the players should be staying in these schools. Man, get out of here. There's billions of dollars at stake, and you're telling me that these players can't get a cut of that? You're telling me that any normal student athlete, or you're telling me that any normal student, they can transfer to 27 different colleges and nobody's gonna bat an eye, but the second that a offensive tackle decides to do it, now it's a problem? Get out of here. I don't want to hear nothing about it. Kadyn Proctor, hey, do whatever you think is the best decision for you, your family, and your football career. That's all I gotta say. In Iowa, shame on you. All the players that try to shun, anybody that the Iowa staff that tried to shun Kadyn Proctor because he didn't do things the way you wanted him to do, shame on you. Honestly, super shame on you. Iowa, I'm still an Iowa fan. I still love the history of what Iowa has done as far as just like taking 2- and 3-star recruits and turning them into first round, second round draft picks. But this was low class in my opinion. Like straight up, this was low class. If this reporting is correct and this is how Iowa's players and coaching staff was treating him, just shame. I want to hear from all y'all. Comment your thoughts down below. Leave this video a like and hit that subscribe button and turn on all your notifications. We're gonna keep you up to date with everything going on in college football. With all that being said, I love and appreciate all y'all. Know that if you're ever going through a situation like this and you feel like you're being isolated out, know that you always got a team on Jesus' team. Know that you always got a spot. Know that there's always a starting roster spot on Jesus' team. All Jesus wants to do is just show us how much he truly loves us and just help guide us through this crazy world that we call life. Always remember that. Love and appreciate all y'all. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Ciao.